The movie starts when the Necromongers, a powerful army, traverse the cosmos in search of the Underverse, a dark new world. Their leader, the Lord Marshal, has returned from the Underverse even stronger. They wreak havoc wherever they go. On UV System Planet 6, Riddick evades mercenaries led by Tombs. He leads them into a cave and eliminates them one by one. Riddick interrogates Tombs about his employer, but Tombs claims he was hired anonymously by Hellion Prime. Riddick throws Tombs out and heads to Hellion Prime. Along the way, Riddick reflects on his distrust of others, even those he once considered friends. On planet Crematoria, a woman is forced into a cage with growling beasts. Riddick has a vision of a woman mentioning Furia. He wakes up to a warning and fights off a ship attempting to inspect him. On Hellion Prime, Imam witnesses the people's anxiety over the impending Necromonger invasion. Riddick confronts Imam, suspecting him of betraying him to the mercenaries. Imam defends his actions, citing the impending invasion. Riddick calms down when he sees Ziza, Imam's daughter. Ziza is fascinated by Riddick's heroic tales, but her mother, Lajan, takes her away. Riddick asks Imam about the person who placed a bounty on his head. Imam expresses his concerns about the universe's decline, including the imminent danger to Hellion Prime, but Riddick remains detached. Hooded figures, accompanied by Arion, reveal that they set the bounty on Riddick, hoping he would aid them against the Necromongers. Imam shares the story of Furyan babies being killed, reminding him of Riddick. Before they can delve further, guards search for Riddick, interrupting their conversation. Imam pleads for Riddick's assistance, but he refuses. Imam accuses Riddick of abandoning a girl, prompting Riddick to confront the guards and protect Imam's family. Riddick subdues the guards in the darkness and learns that the girl, Jack, is imprisoned in Crematoria. Imam warns Riddick that Jack harbors resentment toward him. Riddick insists that everyone should have stayed away from him before leaving. Necromongers arrive and conquer Hellion Prime, while Imam, his family, and other citizens seek safety. During their escape, Riddick saves Imam from a perilous situation. As the battle ensues, Riddick offers to escort Imam's family off the planet, but Imam opts for a shelter. Riddick guides them to safety, hiding from wandering Necromongers who search for survivors. Imam sacrifices himself to distract the Necromongers, and Riddick discovers Imam's lifeless body. The next morning, the Lord Marshal marches to his newly conquered territory, anticipating the arrival of more Necromongers. Commander Vako observes as his wife, Dame Vako, takes pleasure in witnessing the planet's downfall. Vako chastises her for not knowing her place among their people, but she confidently asserts that her place is by his side. The Purifier, addressing the surviving Hellion residents, proclaims that humans from different races in the universe are a misguided mistake and that the Necromongers aim to correct this. He urges them to convert and embrace the paradise known as the Underverse. Ergen enters with a blade lodged in his back. The Lord Marshal points to his vast army, revealing that they were once like the Hellion survivors but chose conversion. The people refuse, prompting the Purifier to disclose his own past denial and advocate for their submission to purification. One man asserts that their worlds are filled with diverse religions and that conversion cannot be forced upon them. In response, the Lord Marshal steals the man's soul, displaying his immense power. Witnessing this, the crowd capitulates and kneels. Among them, Riddick remains standing and reveals himself. Vako commands Riddick to kneel, but Riddick refuses and demands to fight Ergen, the killer of Imam. Vako reluctantly agrees, and Riddick swiftly defeats Ergen using the blade embedded in his back. Intrigued, the Lord Marshal approaches Riddick and offers him the same blade he used in the fight. He then orders Riddick to the Quasi-Deads, a group of semi-dead telepaths, and Dame flirtatiously volunteers to guide him. Upon reaching the necropolis, Dame guides Riddick to the center and departs, leaving him with the Quasi-Deads. The Quasi-Deads examine Riddick's memories of Jack, Arion, and Imam, ultimately identifying him as a Furian. In response, the Lord Marshal orders his men to eliminate Riddick. However, Riddick easily escapes, but is subsequently captured by Tooms and his crew, who tracked him using the locator on his stolen ship. While aboard the ship, Tooms ponders who would pay the most for Riddick. Deliberately ruling out other prisons, Riddick entices Tooms to sell him to the crematoria prison. Within the Necromonger's armada, Vako approaches Lord Marshal with a confrontational attitude but pauses when Lord Marshal abruptly turns. Vako informs him of Riddick's trial, prompting the Lord Marshal to command him to pursue it. Vako protests the idea of deploying a warship to find a single man, but the Lord Marshal insists. In their quarters, Dame suggests that Vako is the superior warrior compared to the Lord Marshal, subtly hinting that Vako should take the lead. Vako strikes her for conspiring against the Lord Marshal and asserts that the Lord Marshal is all-seeing. However, Dame changes her approach and seduces Vako, whispering about his worthiness for the throne. Tooms and Riddick arrive at the prison on Crematoria, where Riddick's reputation as a troublemaker leads to a lower price offer from the warden. Riddick skillfully frees himself and confronts a worker, defending himself against an attacking inmate. He notices a woman holding chains and removes his goggles, but Gov interrupts their interaction. Gov discusses the difference between convicts and inmates, and although Gov asks about Riddick's identity, Riddick claims to be merely passing through. Riddick sets out to find the woman, who ambushes him but is easily subdued. She reveals herself as Kyra and claims that Jack is dead before fleeing. Vako is infuriated by the Purifier's questioning of his loyalty, but he assures him that it's not the reason he supports him. Dame questions Arion about Riddick's past and discovers a prophecy involving a male Furian and a young warrior's downfall. They conclude that Riddick is the warrior and Lord Marshal is his enemy. Dame instructs Vako to kill Riddick to demonstrate his loyalty and potentially lead a rebellion, unaware that their conversation is overheard by the Purifier. At Crematoria, guards release aggressive beasts, warning Riddick and the others not to make eye contact. Kyra skillfully evades the creatures, while other prisoners seek refuge behind steel bars. Those who fail to hide are attacked and killed. Riddick disregards the warning and establishes a peculiar connection with one of the beasts. When the guards capture Kyra and mistreat her during a search, Riddick intervenes and eliminates the guards. Kyra and Riddick engage in a heated argument, revealing her involvement with mercenaries and Riddick's attempts to protect her. As they continue to navigate the prison, Riddick formulates an escape plan. Meanwhile, above the prison, the warden and Tooms negotiate the final price for Riddick. The situation grows tense when they realize a Necromonger ship is approaching. A confrontation ensues between the warden and Tooms, resulting in a gunfight and Tooms escaping.
From them!
Riddick climbs a rope and spots the approaching Necromonger ship. He opens the cages and prepares to escape with the other prisoners. As they make their way towards the hangar, they face opposition from the guards. Riddick incapacitates Anatoly and engages in a firefight, forcing the guards to retreat temporarily. As the prisoners reach the mountain summit, the Necromonger ship arrives, and a fierce battle ensues. Vako shoots Riddick, leaving him defenseless. However, Kyra tackles Vako, causing him to lose his weapon, which falls near Gov. In the midst of the chaos, Vako kills Gov. He then confronts Riddick at gunpoint. Suddenly, the woman from Riddick's vision appears and restores his memory. Riddick unleashes a surge of power, incapacitating the necromongers.
I think you know now.
The sun intensifies as the necromonger's ship departs. Vako and the others rush to their ship, while Kyra, thinking Riddick is dead, reluctantly follows. Riddick regains consciousness, and the Purifier offers him a message from the Lord Marshal, urging him to stay away to avoid being hunted. The Purifier reveals he is also a Furian and warns that Kyra will suffer the same fate. The Purifier walks towards the deadly fire, hoping Riddick will end the Lord Marshal. On Helion Prime, the Lord Marshal praises Vako for his achievements. Vako, however, wonders if Riddick survived and regrets not bringing his body. Dame reassures him, emphasizing that they cannot doubt Riddick's success, especially since the Lord Marshal believes it. The Lord Marshal confronts Arion and asks her to confirm Riddick's death. Satisfied with her response about Riddick reaching the Underverse, he doesn't notice her mysterious smile. The Lord Marshal commands his army to depart from Helion Prime. Dame, noticing the armada leaving, senses Riddick's presence when someone bumps into her. She informs Vako that Riddick is alive and on their ship, criticizing him for his failure. Dame proposes using Riddick as an opportunity to eliminate the Lord Marshal, highlighting his fear as a sign of weakness. She argues that the Lord Marshal is unfit to lead and convinces Vako to take action. As the armada takes flight, the Lord Marshal initiates the final protocol, instructing his followers to await his orders. The survivors on Helion Prime witness a blue orb of light ascending into the sky. Inside the ship, a necromonger detects Riddick's presence. Later, the dead body of the same necromonger is presented to the Lord Marshal, providing evidence of Riddick's presence. Determined, the Lord Marshal prepares his whip as the necromongers gather in the throne room. Commander Toll searches the ship while Riddick sneaks into the Quasi-Dead's chamber. Positioned beyond the throne room's door, Riddick stabs two necromonger guards. He lunges at Lord Marshal but stumbles when the Lord Marshal evades. The Lord Marshal orders his guards to stand down and reveals a converted Kyra, urging Riddick to join them in the conversion process for a new life in the Underverse. Kyra, glazed-eyed, promises Riddick cleansing and a perfect existence. Riddick questions her consciousness, but she walks away. Enraged by what was done to Kyra, Riddick hurls a blade at the Lord Marshal, who remains unharmed. The Lord Marshal unleashes astral projection, overpowering Riddick until he is subdued. He extracts Riddick's soul, but Riddick regains strength and counterattacks. The Lord Marshal uses a spear to subdue Riddick again. However, Kyra stabs the Lord Marshal from behind, only to be impaled on spikes. Dame commands Vako to act, and as the wounded Lord Marshal stands, Vako attempts to strike him down. But the Lord Marshal evades by manifesting out of his body, and Riddick fatally stabs Vako instead. Dame screams in despair, while Arion smiles.
Give me your skill.
Riddick holds Kyra in her final moments, then slumps onto the throne in grief as the remaining necromongers kneel in deference. Thank you for watching this movie recap. I hope you enjoyed it and gained a better understanding of the plot. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below with your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more movie recaps and other content. Your support helps us continue to create great videos like this one. Thank you again. and we'll see you at the next one.